Hello everyone, welcome to our Thursday Live. I am Ankita Bansal. I'll be hosting the second session of Thursday Live where we'll discuss frequently asked questions by chartered accountants for their CA articleship. And soon joining with me will be Pranav Singh Agarwal, who is the founder of and CEO of Articolo. Articolo is a platform where CA students can book their free online mentoring sessions, and they have been mentoring since last 1 month, and they have been mentoring on 100% capacity. So Pranav Singh Agarwal will be joining us soon. And I am Ankita Bansal. I'm a chartered accountant by profession, and I'm also a certified career counselor. I'm founder of Curating Careers, and I'll be hosting your show today. So our first question regarding the frequently asked questions for CA articleship is whether the CA articleship is mandatory or not. Yes, CA articleship is mandatory. Anyone who wants to appear for CA final exam has to do CA articleship, and during the last 6 months of their CA articleship, they can appear for CA final examination. Second question, can I change my principal during the 3 years of my CA articleship? Yes, you can change your principal during the first year of your CA articleship without notifying ICI. But during the second and third year of your CA articleship, you have to notify ICI before changing your principal. So there are few conditions where you can change your principal during the second and third year of your articleship. Either your parents are relocating to some other city, which is 50 kilometers far from your current principal's location. Secondly, if there is a misconduct by your principal, then you can change your CA articleship. Thirdly, if you want to go for industrial training, has joined us. Hello, Pranav. You are not audible.
Yeah, Ankita, so sorry I got a bit late.
No
There was some
problem.
network issue. You know
So
how that happens.
Agarwal is also a chartered accountant. He's a founder of Articolo. Articolo, as we discussed, provides free mentoring sessions for CA students. And Pranav, is there a network issue at your end or my end?
I think there's some network issue in my end, Ankita. I've been having
Okay.
it since the morning. Is it okay now?
It is okay now. Yes, yes. You
Okay,
can
great,
you
great.
do you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Yeah, I'll just take a shot at that. Yes.
Yes.
So, hi guys, my name is Pranav Singh Agarwal. I'm a chartered accountant by profession. I did my articleship with PwC 3 years ago. And after clearing my exams in 2019, I took a bit of an unconventional path of entrepreneurship. I didn't join my the regular route of doing a job and I started a tech company in the space of beauty and wellness, where we were aggregating salons. And one thing, and what led to the birth of Articolo. And today's session is very special because we're talking about articleship, right? And the word articolo means articles in Italian essentially, and that was because articleship is the most special part of a CA student's journey, right? And so it's great to have that going. And when I was giving my exams, I was really troubled for lack of mentoring and guidance. So therefore came Articolo. And well, here we are, and Ankita and I connected couple of weeks ago when we had this idea of having the Thursday live sessions where we discuss issues in brief. And I think, great, Ankita, here we are again for the second episode. We can call it that.
Thank you. And we were discussing, can we change principal during the second and third year of your articleship? So as I
Right.
discussed, you cannot change your principal during the second and third year of your articleship, provided there are three conditions: provided your parents are relocating to another city; secondly, your principal is involved in some misconduct; thirdly, if you want to go for industrial training during the last year of your articleship. And for this also, you have to inform your principal 3 months in advance. So my next question is, When can I start my CA articleship? So as we discussed, there are two routes. One route is that you apply for CA directly after your class 12th, where you can start your CA articleship after giving first group of IPCC. Second route is the direct route, where you apply for CA course after your graduation. There you can immediately start with your CA articleship. Now the more interactive questions. What all places can a student apply for industrial training? Pranav, did you do your industrial training?
So actually, wanted to really discuss this, Ankita. So back in the days, it's not like so back in the days, just 3-4 years ago, right? I really wanted to do industrial training, right? But I don't know, somehow whenever I spoke to any of my batchmates and they're like, hey, industrial training kaun karega? Like, who does industrial training? I don't know why. I got that kind of a vibe. But today, when I talk to a lot of students, right, everyone is doing industrial training, right? Which is, I see that I don't know why, when at least whoever I spoke to in my tuition classes, my peers, my batchmates, there's this weird stigma, like, as if you couldn't do articleships. Are you trying to take the easy way out, right? But
Right.
if you look at it today, you got industrial training in firms like Goldman Sachs, which is brilliant. And after clearing CA, all of us want to run towards these firms like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, etc.
Right.
So yes, I didn't do it. I wanted to, but I don't know. I somehow never was. I won't say motivated, but somehow I never got. I would never walk down that path. What about you? Did you have any thoughts of
I
doing
did had
industrial
thoughts
training?
of doing industrial training, but I think same. Like I never had guts, and I think I didn't apply at that time. But I would like to tell everyone on this platform, you can even do your industrial training with World Bank. So that's
Yes,
a
that's right.
very
Yeah.
interesting industrial training, and I came to know about this very later. So I did do some internship with Competition Commission of India. So after completing my articleship, when there was a gap between my results and my my CA articleship got completed, and there was some gap between the results and the exam. So I did intern with Competition Commission of India. So that gave me a very good exposure. So yes, there are a lot of places like Pranav mentioned that you can do your articleship from. You can do your articleship from investment banks. You can do your articleship from the companies like ITC or in various companies in various industries. And the benefit of doing industrial training is that since you are doing your CA articleship, you might be doing your CA articleship from a mid-sized firm, or you might be doing your CA articleship from Big Four. And whenever we enter CA articleship, we are not really sure about the industry we want to pursue our career into. So industrial training give us that opportunity to join that industry and explore that industry. So I think everyone should give it a shot and explore some other industry and do their articleship. So you can
Would you do
explore.
it, Ankita? If you could turn back time and go back to your article shape days, would you do industrial training?
Yes, definitely. So right now also, like I'm about to start with my MBA in September, and I'm exploring different domains. So I'm also exploring sustainability. I'm also exploring impact investing. So yes, I would go back and do industrial training if given a chance with World Bank, definitely.
Quite cool. Yes, I would too. Yes,
Yes. Uh,
definitely.
so we have already discussed the benefits of industrial training. Any thoughts about that, Pranav?
No, I think as what you said, I absolutely agree with the fact that I mean, the biggest testament to my statement is that hey, I would go back and do it, right? I mean, if someone would turn back those 3-4 years of my journey post articleship, I would definitely take a dig at doing industrial training. Uh, what happens is I feel that the exposure definitely increases, right? And in today's day and age, when you go and apply for these different companies, there it's that typical chicken egg problem, right? Experience comes first, or yeah, the job comes first. So that's the thing. But I think you can really combat that because the institute has given us a structure to take exposure with the industry, right? So you work from the auditors or the taxman's perspective with the CA firms, right? Or with an individual chartered accountant. Now, I guess it's also I would say it's wise to kind of also see it from the other side because I am from the business. I now I see things from a business end as well, right? Uh, so many times I understand the challenges which my client faced because I am the client now, when I have my auditors coming and doing my books, of course, they are not very big company books. They're very basic and very short. But what happens is, I understand the challenges which the auditee faces, right? And tomorrow, if I ever had to go back to the other side of doing this the practice, right, I would be able to navigate these challenges much better because I know, hey, I face this. I know how to solve this, right?
Right.
So it really puts you in another person's shoe, right? And try to understand what's happening there. So I
Right.
think it's definitely beneficial, and I think I would say 100% bucket list item for any person doing CA.
Right. So one more highlight about the industrial training. So CA articleship is generally not counted as work experience when you are applying for your MBA abroad or for in ISB, Indian School of Business. But if you have done your industrial training, that will be counted as your work experience.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that. That's
yes,
great.
yes. So that's the interesting part, and that's a catch. So if you are planning to pursue your MBA after CA, so do make it a point to do an industrial training.
So super actually, and also I believe a lot of people do want to do MBAs post CA these days,
Yes,
right? Unlike 15 years ago, like you yourself are planning to do it, right? You are doing it, going to be going next year. So yeah, that's pretty great.
yes. So our next question is, how can we apply at, this is like very interesting question, and I think most of the children have this question. How can we apply for CA articleship at Big Four? So do you think like if you don't have contacts in Big Four, you cannot apply for CA articleship? What's your thought on that?
No, I don't think that statement is true. You definitely can. In fact, so many of my batchmates had applied through websites. There were campus recruits. There were referrals. And when I say referrals, I don't mean like a partner level reference. Like I mean article level references,
Right,
right? I know so many of my. I mean, how hard is it to? I mean, I'm sure all of us know one person who's working there, so that's a very easy grassroots. It's like a friend who's there. Just get a referral. Campus placements, the websites, even sometimes they even place job openings on Naukri.com, right?
right,
I guess the only thing to understand is the seasonality of it. Let's say if I stand up in December and say I want to do my articleship, obviously there's a challenge there, right? Because articleship hiring is in a season.
right,
Majority of it, like back when I was in PwC, we had two major batches which would come in. One was the April-May batch, the April batch typically, and one was a batch in August or October. Typically, that was the situation. Even more so, October stopped. August and September was the last batch which was hired, right? So now tomorrow, if I wake up in January and say I am not finding an articleship at a Big Four, understand that these are large corporations. There are structures, cycles, processes. It's hard to kind of break that. But
right.
yes, if you're waking up in January and saying I want an articleship, hey, you're not so far away. 3 months later, they recruit, right? So I guess knowing the timelines is also very important, which people might not know.
Right. And Pranav mentioned a lot of good platforms where you can apply. So I'll give you a simple funda. If you want to apply for CA articleship in Big Four and you don't know anyone in this world who has either ever worked in Big Four or is working in Big Four, so make a LinkedIn account, follow all the key HRs of these Big Fours, EY, KPMG, Deloitte, PwC. Write this and write a HRs in the search. Follow them. If they are not accepting your request, follow them. Definitely, you can read their posts. So whenever the post comes in, do apply for C articleship. So this is the easiest funda. That's how you can apply for C articleship. If you
Also, I'll
don't,
give there's another important tip I'd like to kind of share here, right?
right,
So I've again been this is another realm where I've been on the other side of the table. Like first when I said I was an auditee, now I've also been a recruiter.
right,
In the past 18 months, I've recruited over 25, 30 people in capacity of interns, senior positions, and even mid-managerial positions, even executive roles, right? So I've at least shortlisted people from north of 2,500 to 3,000 CVs. So I understand the plight of a recruiter as well, right? See, what happens is most of the times, one thing which people do not understand is with the organization you apply to, you have to change your CV a bit depending on the organization you're applying to, right? I cannot use the same CV for a Big Four, which I would use for a startup, or which I would
right,
use for a. I'm in the sense that yes, of course, there's no articleship in a startup, but the context is that, right? So
right,
the context here would be a mid-sized firm, right, or a
Or
small
maybe
scale.
a tax profile and audit profile.
Exactly, right. There are certain skills you'd like to highlight, right? Let's say
Right,
you're a keen observer. That's a trait you want in an auditor, right?
right,
You're a absolutely mathematical genius, something, or you have an acumen for study of the law. You
right,
are great with logics. Maybe tax is your thing. So
right,
your CV and your application should actually reflect that, and avoid using the same CVs, I would say, everywhere, right? Because I
right.
know people who've used the same CVs for each and every organization. Doesn't work. Tailor
Right.
make these things. There's special places you want to go and work, right? Make your CV special for them.
Right. So our next frequently asked question is articleship at Big Four better than a articleship at mid-sized firm? So I would like to answer it first, then I'll give it to you. So I feel that a mid-sized firm makes you an overall chartered accountant. So if you're looking at something like going for a practice and even for a job, it's a good way. You can start with a mid-sized firm. But if you are looking at a specific careers, tomorrow you want to be a risk manager, or you want to be a tax manager, or you want to be a financial advisor or a chief financial officer in a company, so you can pick and choose the profiles in the Big Four and start investing in them at a very early stage. So a Big Four will help you to give you that kickstart where you are investing at very early stage, and it also helps you to learn few skills like formatting, Excel, Word, presentation, communication skills, hell lot of skills. And they also, these days they also provide you with the access to the portals like Coursera, Udemy, edX, to learn infinite courses. So yes, there is advantage if you if you have a specific target in your mind, start with a Big Four. If you don't have a specific target in your mind, start with a mid-sized firm. So over to you, Pranav.
I would say I have a bit of a biased opinion, having done an articleship from the Big Four. But I'll tell you the reasons, right? I think I can remove my biases and talk about situations, right? I look at things objectively. So okay, let's look at the pros of Big Four and the cons of a Big Four, right? I feel pros of a Big Four is, yes, there is solid brand which comes into play. There is definitely a brand value. The difference in a Nike shoe and a Bata shoe, and people end up, there is a reason you want to pay the premium for a Nike shoe, right? So that's number one. There's a definite brand value. You're a global professional today. You're not just limited to India. With a Big Four tag name behind you, you even have opportunities in secondments. Like I went to Malaysia during my articleship for a month at to audit a large scale manufacturing company, and I was living at the plant, and that is experience, right? I could have never done that with a small scale firm. So right, and you're an international person today, you're global, right? So
Right,
I guess that's a broad experience you get. You understand the value of processes, right? The small things which kind of make organizations large. Sometimes people wonder that you're a very small screw in a very big machine, right? But you have to realize that that really adds up. And as you rise through the ranks, like when I say ranks from year 1 to year 3, I myself kind of saw the difference in the way I was managing teams, in doing structured thinking. And one thing which Big Four definitely teaches you is to master your formatting and Excel skills. Because trust me, I have made those reports 25 times because one placing was here and there, one thing was not right aligned, the formatting was off, and I used to think, what the hell am I doing, right? But today, when I look at documents, the first thing I say is, guys, can you format this and bring it to me? I will not look at this piece of
right,
paper before that, right? And the way we do work, efficiency is brilliant when it comes to that, right? These are the good parts of a Big Four. Let's talk about some of the cons of a Big Four, right? The workload is incredible in the sense that it's of course there. I think the same is going to be in a mid-sized firm too. There's a chance that if you get stuck with one client, there's a tendency that they keep you for that one particular client. So
right,
there is that, yeah. So there is that particular thing where you might not get so much exposure across various industries unless you happen to be very lucky, right? If you do a listed client, the tendency will be every year you will continue to do that client, right? Because
right,
you've understood the job. So that is one risk in the sense that exposure can be a little narrow, right? You might not be given the most perceived important areas, right? For example, revenue. I'm talking from audit perspective because I was
Right,
an audit professional. So, you know, you might not be given revenue for a large client, you might be given basic work, but in a small firm, you might be given the entire client to handle, right?
right,
Those are the things. But the sheer number of entries and the sheer volume which you see with that one small area at a big four, you could really become a master of that, right?
right.
So I guess these are the pros and cons which are there. In a smaller firm, like in a medium size, firstly, I don't people call it a mediocre firm. I hate that word.
Yeah,
Always say these are mid-sized firms. It's not mediocre. Mediocre is an adjective on the capability. No, that's not the case, right? I always
right,
say mid-sized firm. So in a mid-sized firm, right, exposure is far more, right? There were some of my peers I would interact with. They would know taxes, they would know filings, they would know GST, they would know audit, they would know a little bit of M&A, they would know a little bit of transaction. I'm like, wow, man, you know so much.
right,
And so I guess that's the trade-off one has to kind of look at, right? And that's about it. And another big thing in a big four you have to remember, if you're a big four article trainee and you graduate, you generally get a boost in your designation. Like
right,
for example, if a mid-sized person comes in, they would come in as an associate. Typically that's the case, right? Whereas if you graduate from a if you've done your articles at a big four and you qualify, you will be a senior associate, so you
right.
save a year and a half. That's, I
Yes,
think, a very important fact which people must know. And years do matter towards the end if you want to be a professional.
right. So I think we have covered all the major questions, and so I would just at the last share some tips how to apply for CA articleship at Big Four's industrial training. So one is, please have a updated LinkedIn account. Secondly, make a very good ATS compliant resume, because nowadays a lot of these companies are using ATS software. Thirdly, learn how to write a cover letter. Write a cover letter that will distinct you from other applicants. So, any other tip, Pranav?
No, I think very rightly put, Ankita. LinkedIn today is like your resume, right?
Right,
I most of the times when I do recruiting, I don't even look at the CVs. It's so tedious. I go on the LinkedIn, right? Sometimes I feel if a person has got the inclination and the motivation to actually go and sit down there, update the LinkedIn, I feel that's a professional I want there, right? Because he's kind of conscious about his professional presence on social media today, which we're in a world of digital, within the digital world today. So I feel that is a really good quality for a person to have. And again, as you mentioned, ATS compliant resume is very important. Cover letter is so important, right? Cover letter should not state that I want to work for your esteemed organization where I will give you the 100%. You know what? Every person writes that.
right,
That's like a little copy paste. Don't do that. Trust me, that's the first line I read. And you don't want a person to be reading that I am, own my skills to the organization for the mutual benefit and the growth for the common vision of the. No one wants to read that. You know what? That was great for CV writing or job application letters to the in English. For English board exams, we used to write in the 12th grade.
right,
Graduate from that. You need to say very specifically what is it that you who you are, what you want to do, and make them targeted, right? And if you say you have certain skill sets, mention that with this. Let's say if I say I'm good with numbers, so what do I do with that, right? I mean,
right,
what can you do by being good at numbers? Say
right,
I am good at numbers, therefore I can do brilliant financial modeling, right?
right,
If you have a skill, tell the application of the skill. If I say I have a skill which I'm really good at, right, but that skill has no application, my skill has no meaning today, right, at least for that organization. So cover letter, the key, the way you present it, I feel is so important.
right. And cover letter can be anything. You can actually, the body of your mail can also be your cover letter. So if you draft it well, that can also play a role of a cover letter. So please never send your resume like this. Please find attached. It's like throwing your resume on the face of the recruiter. Like, I just really feel that someone is just throwing the resume on my face. Like, please find attached my resume. It's like, so
Yeah,
don't do
I get it.
that.
There is this corporate politeness, if one might say, or corporate etiquettes of business writing, which you respect. People many times ask, "Kya hoega? लिख के खोल तो लिया attachment," but that's not how the way the
Right,
world works, right? You have to certain etiquettes which have to be respected, right? I
Right.
just feel that's very
And
important.
make your mail interesting so that the person wants to open your resume.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Yes.
So Ankita, why don't you? I guess we're done with all the questions, right?
Right, right. Yes.
Right. So I just thought that why don't we hear a bit about something interesting about your articleship experiences and something you'd like to tell everyone.
So I think I had a very wonderful articleship experience. I also did my articleship with EY, and it's been really like I did my articleship in 2011 to 2014, so it's been really long time. But yes, definitely, I made lifelong friends during my articleship days, and I still remember one incident. Like we were talking about the formatting, so there was a thing like in Excel, and I used to like print the tables and send it like it was like a weekly budgets of the team, and I used to print them and send it to my team like pass it on to my senior manager. So what he used to do, like he used to throw them away every time, and he used to be like, the formatting is not right. So I was like, teach me how to do formatting. Like I don't understand. The table is there. The table is in one page. It's like I'm not able to read this table. A, the margins are not same on the four sides, and this doesn't look appealing. So I was like, okay, like these all things do matter. So yeah, so that was a very interesting learning for me. And today, till date, like I make my margins very like I'm very specific about my margins. I'm very specific about my formatting, and this is the lesson which has stayed with me till date. Like, and this is the OCD which I inhabited in my
Yes.
articleship.
Today, if you give me a paragraph, there's a double space in it, I'll catch it like that. It hurts my eyes that there's a double
Right,
space or one font is larger size or smaller size or different typefaces. Like ये गलत है. One look at it, I'll like ये गलत है.
right. So yes, there are so many formatting skills. Like it's and no one will teach you formatting skills other
And
than
it's something so trivial. It is something so trivial and so undermined, but it really is. It differentiates you, and and there is no true way of actually explaining this to someone till the time you actually experience it. But I guess people would just have to take a word, right? That how important this particular skill set is, right?
right,
I'll share another very interesting experience which I had during my articleship, right? So I used to view my articleship in a very different manner, right? Of course, being an audit professional, I used to go to different clients, look at different businesses, right? And I always wanted to do something in the realm of doing a business or something in strategy, right? अब वो तो देखो हमें सिखाते नहीं थे कोई, ठीक है, कि बिजनेस कैसे करना है, स्ट्रैटेजी कैसे करना है. वी वर लुकिंग एट द नंबर्स एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग एवरीथिंग बिहाइंड इट,
right,
राइट? So what I used to do, I realized that hey, I am sitting in the middle of these brilliant offices, in the when I say brilliant offices, the client offices, right? Interacting with these brilliant people who've been in this industry for 20 years, right? And they are the finance department. They know what's happening. That's the most transparent department in the sense they know everything that's happening in the company because well, जहाँ पैसा जा रहा है उनको सब दिखता है क्या होता है, right? I used to take an extra step there, right? I would make my articleship fruitful for me. I would say, once work got over, I would spend an extra 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour with the account staff or, the people in the organization. Sir,
right,
tell me how the business works. No? Sir, tell me what are the problems you face. कहते हैं आपको बताया तो सारा financial खत्म हो गया. Sir, this is done. Work is over. This I just want to learn. So how do you do the business? What are the problems you face in a business, right? And I always used to insist in a plant visit or a factory visit. Sometimes it was not in the scope, right? But I would still say scope when I say it was not planned or it was had already
right,
been done. But I would always insist that, sir, that please allow me for a factory visit because I want to understand the manufacturing process. I want to understand everything that happens in the field, right? That gave me so much knowledge about how things happen, right? And it changed my experience. So I worked in 11 different industries during my articleship, and it was brilliant. And it's so funny that because of this, one of the startups I was auditing uh, just raised $100 million for their round of funding, and their
wow,
entire logo was there on Times Square being displayed. It's a logistics startup, and it's so funny. And I'm still in touch with the founders, and I remember seeing them in the small office in Ookla with the 25, 30 people team. Today, it's what, 3 years ago I was with them. $100 million what they've raised, right?
Wow.
And I understood the business inside out when I was with them. So, such a great feeling that I was more than just an auditor, and learned stuff about their business. And I actually apply this stuff in my own businesses today. I would say that's a tip for everyone. Stop looking at businesses like just numbers. Start looking at businesses like businesses, right? There's a lot more to learn. If a
Right.
person who's worked in a company for 20 years, trust me, he has a lot more to tell you than just numbers and processes. That is very important, don't get me wrong. But spend that extra 30 minutes, you might just learn something much more fruitful.
Right. Very insightful, Pranav. Very insightful. And it was really motivating for me also. Like, I want to go back and do my articleship again. So, thank you for the session. I think we should close with respect to the time. So,
Yeah, I guess,
meet,
yes, we went a little overboard, but yeah.
yes, let's meet next Thursday. Thank you.
Super, sounds good. Great, Ankita. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye.